So how do muscle cells work together? We've just learned that every muscle cell has its own neuromuscular junction, okay? So they're all stimulated kind of separately, all right? So how do they work together? Well, one of the things that they do is they are situated into what we call motor units. So if we have a neuron, here's my little neuron, here's my little axon, all right? And remember, the axon terminal will branch out to, various or different axon terminals, okay? So here's one, here's a terminal, here's a terminal, here's a terminal, here's a terminal. And for each one of those, we have a muscle fiber. Here's a muscle fiber, there's a muscle fiber. Okay? And again, we're talking about the motor neuron. All right? So each of these things is a muscle fiber within a muscle. So fiber 1, fiber 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if we have an action potential that comes down the axon, well, where does it go? All right, well, it goes to all of them. Okay, it doesn't like pick one, it goes to all of them equally. So all of the fibers are affected by the action potential. So basically, a motor neuron is a somatic motor neuron, and all the myofibers it innervates. So all the muscle cells that it innervates. So a somatic motor neuron, and all of its muscle cells that it innervates. So every time this motor neuron sends an action potential, all 5 of those muscle cells are going to be affected. They're going to contract. So a big muscle is made up of a group of these. So more than one neuron innervates one muscle. And the bigger the muscle, the more neurons and the more numerous the motor units are. Okay, so some motor units may be 2 or 3 muscles, some might be 40 or 50, some might be 100. Okay, it just depends on the size of the muscles. So the bigger the muscles, the larger the motor units. So bigger muscles equal larger motor units. All right, so again, smaller muscles have smaller or fewer motor units and smaller. Within a motor unit, all of the muscle cells are of the same type. So we'll talk about later the different types of muscles, okay? And within a motor unit, all the muscles are of the same type, okay? So when an action potential goes down the motor neuron and innervates all of these muscles, they, of course, contract. So a muscle twitch is the contraction of all of the muscles within a motor unit due to one action potential. Okay, so the contraction of the muscle cells within a motor unit from one action potential of its neuron. So that is a muscle twitch. A muscle twitch is not your, eyelid, going on for no reason, like a spasm. This is a muscle twitch. So we need to look at how this works, because one twitch from one motor neuron is not going to move a muscle. Okay, one twitch from one motor unit in your biceps muscle is not going to move that big old biceps muscle. Okay, so how does it move? How do we do that? How do we coordinate these motor units to fire in a way that creates smooth, strong contraction? Okay, well, let's look at that.